Hey guys, so the day today is the 5th of March. I'm currently in South Africa, Joburg, Veoo to be specific, my parents' house. And yeah, I just wanted to do this video to explain to people what I've been working on. I guess technically it's over 2 years, um, based on my domain experience, but as a proper tech startup, I've been working on Veoo for almost over a year now. And how the story goes is I met I met a few people before, but I jumped onto Y Combinator's co-founder management platform looking for a co-founder for a startup that I thought of that solves problems for social media managers who have to manage YouTube channels. Alright. And basically I had in previous years done this myself through my agency that I was growing and looking for other clients for at the time. But like part of the challenge was that the work was so much, and I found myself I charged so little for the amount of work that I was doing for this particular client. Yet we'd grown the channel from, I think it was around 481 subscribers to 100,000 subscribers in 4 months. Then, today it's about 205,000 subscribers, and that's really just because you stopped posting since that time. A few months ago we posted about I'd say about almost 20 videos, but it wasn't nearly as much as back then. But it's a lot of work to manage the social media management of a YouTube channel. It's not just posting on YouTube, putting a thumbnail, and then, the channel grows itself. It's like you have to post on multiple platforms. You have to post everywhere. You need to repurpose the content, maximize that entire video in all ways possible, extract the audio, post it on podcast platforms. And the thing is, you also want it to be successful on other platforms. And what that means is, there's a saying, different platform, different rules. And you have to now format the content in new ways on these platforms. Even though it's the same content, you need to frame it in a different way. Like, for example, maybe as takeaways from this video, or a story of, how we came up with the concept of the video on another platform, but to drive viewers, but different channels have different goals. And this channel, the goal of the channel was to drive viewers to actually just watch videos on the channel. Some people will have to sell products, but this channel didn't really, the goal wasn't to do that. The goal was just to drive people to the main content. And a lot of work goes into that. A lot of graphic design, a lot of testing, a lot of changing, optimizing titles, a lot of coming up with great descriptions, a lot of just checking if there's tools you could use to score your video. Basically, there's this checklist tools that you can use to increase the chance of your video being successful. There's things you can do, like adding it on a playlist, or you can use specific words that are highly searched for on YouTube. But there are many activities that you need to do. So I just didn't enjoy that part of the work because it's very repetitive, um, mundane, tedious tasks. I'm a creative, so I like to be more on the creating side of things. So, but like, yeah, um, I thought, okay, we can create automation tool for this stuff. At the time, it was 2020, and the end of 2022, when I really thought of this, and um, I've always just been interested in tech, and I would follow a lot of things. I'd read a lot of books on like machine learning and just basic level stuff in terms of the latest in tech. The latest coding languages, like the no-code tools, all this stuff. And I saw that there was a way for us to use something at the time called GPT-3 to be able to automate writing descriptions, optimizing YouTube channels, but also I just knew enough that there are no-code tools that do automation. So I thought you could really just build a tool that could automate various things for YouTube channels in general. And I'm not a technical person. My strengths are more on the business side, on the design side, and the vision side of things. And I knew that I needed a strong technical team if I wanted this to be the leading tool for YouTubers. And at a later stage, businesses in general, we could automate social media as a whole. Social media management, not just for YouTube channels, but for other businesses. The other key thing that I want to mention is I had come across some stuff with deep fakes and stuff like that I knew you could actually reanimate lip movements, you could clone voices. So I figured that we could probably also just translate videos. And the inspiration behind that is a blog I read a few years ago while I was trying to better understand what SEO is. And in this blog, it said that one company did a very simple thing to increase the amount of traffic they drove to their website. And the simple thing was just taking an article and translating it into another language and just replacing the keywords that they would want to rank for. Maybe you want to rank for, I don't know, just social media management, for example. The word social, the search term social media management. Just translating it to another language and basically translating all the content on the website to French, and then wherever that keyword that they're targeting will come up, they would use the same keyword that's searched for in a region where a lot of people will speak French. And they were able to basically double, triple them, taking the amount of languages, and let's say it's 30 languages, you basically, more or less, depending on the size of the population, you 30x the amount of traffic that you would be getting in one language. So I thought we could actually just do this for video creators as well. Just you increase the amount of people you can reach just by translating the content. And I knew that this was very, very possible with the AI back in 2022. I knew this was possible, and so jumped onto Y Combinator's co-matching platform, which I had used before, and I met a guy, at the time his name was Yash, and I told him that, look, we can work on, this is the idea, we can just work on translating people's videos. And at the time, it wasn't more of this social media management. It was just, how can we help video creators reach more people? The mission has always been that, and still is today. You know, effortlessly, how can we help video creators reach more people without having to do anything? And I thought that would be the great starting point. So he came on board. I mean, within, I think, a week and a half, we were able to basically clone voices, translate them. Then I think he just lost interest, and I lost him as a co-founder, unfortunately. He wasn't the right person to work with, and he just went ghost. He went ghost. So then I'm not the type to give up, and I think that this, I had already established that the market for this is incredibly huge, and I also have this hypothesis that the most powerful people on earth will be people who are creating videos and creating content. So I want to basically be able to, how do I explain it? I would like to be in a field and provide technology in a field where I know in the future there will be extremely high demand, because when people realize how influential people who create content are, a lot of people, more people, even today, more and more people are creating content because they're realizing the power. I mean, the top YouTubers are set to make billions by the end of this year, which is 2024. And just because they have such loyal followers who love their content so much that they love the people behind the person, the actual brand, the person behind the content, that when that person creates a product like Mr. Beast with Feastables, they'll buy it. It's sold out. I mean, it sells out in all the Walmarts. That just demonstrates, even Kim Kardashian, who is technically a content creator, she is a brand through content. It happened to be on TV, but at the same principle. Except with YouTube, you don't need the approval of a broadcaster. And I think that because it's putting everybody on the same level playing ground, and anyone can actually become the next Kim Kardashian or whoever, just through shooting content. I think that more and more people will do it in future, and the future businesses will be coming from YouTube. And I want to, with the knowledge that I have, empower those people. So I didn't stop when Yash went ghost on me. So I went back to my Combinator platform. I met up with Sai. I met up with a few people. Like, if you go onto my Y Combinator page, I've matched with 100 people. I've interviewed 100 people, over 100 people, to bring them on board. And I really just wanted to identify the people, not just who have the best skill set, but people who are passionate about Veoo as much as I am, who are passionate about the startup, and believe in it. And more than anything, somebody who's a good person, because that's just one of the things I've learned from reading books by Warren Buffett. One thing he looks for in business partners is somebody who just has great morals, great principles. And so I was looking for that. I was trying to model somebody like Warren Buffett and looking for partners. And then, I was able to meet with Sai. I saw on his profile, at the time he was a machine learning engineer specializing in computer vision, which is something I'd read a lot about. Not too much to be an expert in, but enough to understand how it works and the different types of software you could use, like OpenCV or TensorFlow. You could use a lot of these tools to create computer vision solution like PyTorch and stuff. But yeah, I understood that this was important if we are helping video creators. And for example, the things we would need to do, I knew in the future the things we would need to do is what I would do manually is take a video and find all the interesting moments and cut them up. But then what would happen is you can't just when you want to take those interesting moments and convert them from landscape to portrait, you can't if it's a two-person interview, if one person's on this side, one person's on that side, if you crop it, it means that you've cut somebody else out. Or if it's multiple people, it becomes a nightmare. So I knew that we would need some sort of computer vision to be able to recognize faces and then focus on cropping those faces automatically. Something I would spend hours doing, repurposing videos. And I knew that if we're going to help video creators, we're going to need to have somebody like that who has experience with computer vision. So he came on board. What we worked on first was a translation, because I just wanted to get that out the way. And I know that this is something, but because I'm not an expert, I underestimated the amount of work it actually takes. I mean, with Yash, I don't know how he did it. I think he used a lot of like open source stuff, but I think he was also he knew his stuff. But like, it took us a bit of time to do this with Sai. There was more technical complications and more things that I hadn't considered before, and maybe Yash hadn't considered before. It took some time. We did it, and then we realized, okay, cool, we can do this now. I'm sure we did it like a month, and then realized we don't have, we can't make this an app, because he was doing it manually. Like, so basically, yeah, he was doing each step manually. There's like multiple steps where you extract audio, and then you use a Google Trans API to translate from one language to a target language. Then you have to do another process of cloning a voice. So it was all like segmented processes, like different processes that were done manually. There was code, but it was done manually. It wasn't connected to each other. But regardless, we wanted to test this out with a few users. But to do that, we needed like some sort of interface. And Sai didn't have enough experience with building apps to be able to do that. And he was also working full-time. We both were. So we were like, okay, cool, we need to bring somebody who could help us with that. And we went back, or I went back onto my Y Combinator profile, looked for more co-founders, but now we're looking for somebody who could help us build the app. And yeah, we interviewed a few people, and I think after 3 or 4 people who I interviewed, came across Joshua, who a guy from Ghana, but he was based in Germany, and he was currently unemployed at the time. I think it was two months, but he was there actually about to be employed by a company, and he was just in a situation where he couldn't work because you need to have, your papers need to be approved, the visa stuff approved for you to actually legally be able to be paid to work there. But the company was just paying. I don't know how he was living there, but he was living in Germany and not working, and he was looking for a startup. And yeah, I think it was about a year ago from now. Like, I think we started working with him around this time. It was beginning of March last year. And he came on board, and we were able to build a basic like app. But then I think the idea of the product and what the product will do changed in a few minor ways, but I mean and the scope expanded. I don't have product development experience, So we had to learn the hard way, and we had different styles that we wanted, how we wanted the app to look like, the flow. It was a great learning experience for me just to understand how do we build these apps. I had, built like basic apps before using Flutter, but it was never a systematic approach to start with wireframes and designs, then but also just clarifying the scope. There are parts of the story that I'm missing out because this was over a year, but long story short, we ended up. I ended up just saying to Joshua, okay, cool, we want to just put out an MVP as fast as possible. So let's just buy like already designed things based on the app that we want. We wanted people to be able to interact with Veoo, the social media manager, an AI-powered social media manager, through like a chat interface, so similar to ChatGPT. So ChatGPT had just come out around that time, like end of 2022. So now we're in 2023 at the beginning, and I was just like, okay, cool, because people are adopting this thing so much, we need to ride this trend. And we're moving away from navigating between pages to navigating tasks using prompts. So I was like, okay, cool, we need to build like this. People like this. There's something right about this. I don't know what it is, but because so many people are adopting this thing called ChatGPT, we need to, go with the times and the consumer trends and preferences at the time. We want people to be able to chat to Veoo and delegate tasks, translate my video, distribute it to TikTok. Yeah. So, yeah, how I'm envisioning the product is also changing over time because I'm coming back with new insights about what people want, and I'm watching a lot of YouTube videos to see what are the top YouTubers doing to increase their views. So I'm coming up with new ideas based on things that have been proven to work, and we are also at the time seeing a lot of competitors. We're seeing new tools come out, like Rask, which is translation, and then we're seeing things like captions app. We're seeing different things, how other people are doing it. Nobody at the time is yet doing it like how we want to do it, which is we want from start to finish. You as a creator, after you've made your video, just give it to Veoo, and Veoo does everything. So the scope obviously changed, and we had to have a couple of meetings to really say, okay, for the MVP, what do we want the MVP to be like? And the standard for me was the MVP needs to be at least 10 times better than anything that's out there. Because then, what are we really like? What value are we really offering? Like, our free version needs to be 10 times better than any other paid version on the market. And I said to them, we need to offer whatever these guys are doing, like, these clip creation apps or the translation. We need to offer that for free. And the whole strategy was, okay, if we give them all these clips and all this content, it'll increase their workload. And what we specialize in is the social media, handling the actual task of the distribution, the posting in a language once a clip is translated, because the competitors would translate clips and give them to you. But if I don't speak French, how am I going to post this in French? It's going to be so much work. So we want to offer these free tools, give them, just basically in a way, interfere with our competitors by offering what they're offering but for free, and then have everybody come to us. And then once they realize how much work they have, then they would have to pay for a premium plan for Veoo, because Veoo will automate the distribution and the management of the content. That's what Veoo does, without a creator having to worry. Yeah, and he came on board, and it's been quite a journey. It's been quite a journey, and I thought I would start sharing with you guys, whoever's watching, at whatever time, what we've been working on and how far we've come so far. We are currently at a point where we have an app. No users yet. A few pre-sign-ups. I'm actually working on driving that, which I should have done properly like before, but you know, everything's a learning process. And yeah, I'm using some automations, and I'm looking at YouTubers and finding their email addresses, sending them sequences of cold emails, very hyper personalized for the first few, to really see and speak to them, see if they want the product. Obviously, this is something we should have done way before, but obviously, I had experienced the problem myself, so that had already validated because a client was paying me to do this manually. So they would have definitely paid for an automation tool to do it, as well as other YouTube channels that pay people to do these things manually. They would obviously pay for the job to get done, you know. So it was validated. It was just we needed to automate it from a human doing it to software doing it. But it's important still, I realize, to speak to. I realize it's important still to speak to users. And I just want to ramp that up now. The goal is to speak to up to 5 users a day. And speaking to them doesn't mean setting up meetings with them. It doesn't always mean that. For an efficient approach that I want to implement is, well, I've implemented already, is just a form. If they see a mail where we explain what we're working on and how we can help them with their channel, and then it says sign up for our wait list, they'll fill up the form. That is us speaking to them. Those questions we're asking for, and their information that they're providing us, is us getting answers from them. And that's the most important thing. That I want to just gather as many answers. I mean, I want to get 10 people per day. I think that's a good target for any startup getting started. And drive pre-sign-ups, but also just understand, out of all that Veoo does, what is most important to you, you know, because they all are needed. All of what Veoo does is things that YouTube channels are paying people to do. But what are the most painful things? Because those are the things we want to prioritize first and foremost, because we have limited resources. We're bootstrapped. During this time between this last year and now, we have been reaching out to investors. We've applied to Y Combinator, which is an accelerator, basically, where people apply for startups and then, apply for startup funding. And basically, it's a program where they'll get a little bit of money, like $125,000 for a 3-month program, and then they go through this program, and then at the end they pitch to investors who have much more money to invest in and would be willing to invest in them. But like, we got rejected. We've applied to I've lost count now, but we've applied to quite a few accelerators with rejections. But that doesn't mean that what we're working on is not useful, and it doesn't mean that users don't want it. It just means that they one of the things they look for is traction. So we haven't done that, and I haven't put in enough work yet in terms of the waitlist, and that's what I'm really spending a lot of time doing. And yeah, this is hopefully, not even hopefully, it's my goal to put out more videos of how we've been building, and just share with the public some of the challenges we're facing, and some of just our journey as co-founders. And I'm excited to launch this product hopefully soon. So Joshua, one thing I forgot to mention, Joshua after 2 months of working with us, he got the job, and it was quite a demanding job, so development slowed down quite significantly. So we've been going in like maybe from fourth gear to back to first gear in terms of how fast we've been building. But unfortunately, we are bootstrapped, and we need all the money we can get, or just to pay bills, keep lights, have food, make a living. And yeah, we've all been continuing to work, but with the goal of one day transitioning to working on Veoo full time and helping our users full time. And I'm excited, I'm excited to engage with more YouTube channels, YouTube creators, and really just discover new problems, new pains, new insights into what they value the most, and discover how we can help them with the product that we're working on. And like with any startup, you don't know if it will ever be successful, but I do know if we keep on communicating with our users, we'll ultimately build something that's extremely valuable for them or to them, and that will change how they do things. And I hope that this tool that we're building is going to be the future of how work is done by YouTube channels all over the globe. How they manage the channel, how they reach more people. There's so many cool things that YouTubers do that are so inefficient done manually. Like, how do you make 200 thumbnails per video and test them all? Mr. Beast does that, but he has over 1,000 people who he employs. But like an everyday YouTuber doesn't have that. But with a tool like Veoo, that is possible very easily. Just needs to be built, which is where we are at. So many tactics that are used to optimize YouTube channels, the videos, the shorts, the other content on other platforms. So we hope to empower users with the best tool that teaches itself from its own mistakes. And it's just the beauty of AI, and I love it. And I know we'll definitely build the best product. So if we just take that approach of speaking to users and building the type of product that teaches and learns from its own mistakes, never to repeat something. And it's unique for every audience, like just because one method works for a food channel doesn't mean it'll work for a gaming channel or a podcast. Different different genre, different rules. Same with different platform, different rules. You can think of channels as platforms in themselves. They on this huge YouTube platform, a channel is its own mini platform, and it's got its own unique audience that wants content in a certain way. And Veoo, with its intelligence, can tap into the data provided by YouTube and provided by the user, giving the data that a user gives us permission to access from their channel and the other social media platforms. We can understand, or Veoo can understand, how to best cater to a specific audience based on their preferences and what they love most, which is hard for a human to do and keep in their mind when they do go about doing things. So yeah, this is just the first video, and stay tuned to see how the Veoo journey unfolds. I'm excited for the world to see what we've been working on.